Ruth.
And I'm Darren.
Of the Rad Adventures Network.
Welcome to Convention Correspondents, where we talk about conventions we've attended and share our thoughts about the events.
We're borrowing the name of the podcast from when we were convention correspondents for the Aquaman Shrine, the excellent website dedicated to DC Comics' King of the Seas from our friend Rob Kelly.
You can follow Rob on Twitter at Kelly Creative, as well as on the many excellent podcasts at the Fire and Water Podcast Network, which we highly recommend.
Today we're discussing NC Comicon Oak City, which was recently held in Raleigh, North Carolina, which featured guests Walter Simonson, Kevin Eastman, and Orlando Jones.
If you enjoy the show, please consider checking out our other podcasts that are available on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and YouTube.
Trekker Talk follows the adventures of 23rd century bounty hunter Mercy St. Clair from the pages of the sci-fi comic Trekker by writer and artist Ron Randall.
Xenozoic Xenophiles covers the adventure series Xenozoic Tales, featuring Cadillacs and Dinosaurs by writer and artist Mark Schultz.
And Warlord Worlds is devoted to the comic creations of writer and artist Mike Grell, including The Warlord, Jon Sable, and Green Arrow.
And we'll be right back with our thoughts about NC Comicon Oak City right after this promo from another podcast you might enjoy.
Aquaman and Firestorm fighting crime together. Soak 'em down or burn 'em up. No one does it better. Whenever you find trouble, they'll always be there to catch them in a bubble or even torch their hair. They stand for truth and justice in sea, on land, in air. Aquaman and Firestorm, they make a super pair.
The Fire and Water Podcast, celebrating Aquaman, King of the Seven Seas, and Firestorm, the Nuclear Man.
Available at Fire and Water Podcast, Aquaman Shrine, Firestorm Fan, and on iTunes and Stitcher.
I'm one of your hosts, the Irredeemable Shag, here to talk about Firestorm. Along with me is my co-host Rob Kelly, here to talk about some guy that talks to fish.
Really? You're going to pull this crap during the promo? It's bad enough I have to put up with your shenanigans every...
NC Comicon started about a decade ago in Durham, North Carolina, where it's held each November.
It's a well-run convention and is held at the Durham Convention Center, which is connected to the Marriott Hotel and adjacent to the historic Carolina Theater.
The Carolina Theater is a favorite of ours. The theater is nearly 100 years old and has both a performance stage and 2 cinemas. We occasionally see music concerts and comedians there, and the cinema features lots of classic films. There are retro double features on most Friday nights and several film festivals throughout the year.
NC Comicon always partners with the Carolina Theater for the Comic Quest Film Festival, which features lots of comic book-themed films as well as other action and science fiction films. Tickets to the convention always include a few free movie passes.
However, the convention center in Durham is small, and NC Comicon outgrew the location several years ago, and now some events are held in other nearby buildings where the con rents out extra space.
A few years ago, they changed the name of the con to NC Comicon Bull City, which is named for the Durham Bulls minor league baseball team, and they added a second convention in Raleigh called NC Comicon Oak City, because Raleigh's nickname is City of Oaks.
This newer con is held in the spring each year at the modern and very large Raleigh Convention Center, where there is lots of room to grow.
Raleigh and Durham are neighboring cities, and both conventions are consistently fun and feature great guests.
Guests at NC Comicon Oak City this year included comic pros Walter Simonson and Kevin Eastman, as well as actor Orlando Jones.
We were also looking forward to meeting Chris Williams, who is the co-host of Comics in the Golden Age, along with Mike Lane. We've met Mike and his wife Kamutha at a couple of conventions in the past, but we hadn't yet met Chris.
Chris had a booth for his company, Plastic Flame Press, and was selling prints and original sketches. He's very talented, and we bought a large print of the main character from the TV series The Prisoner, which is a favorite of ours, as well as a couple of small original sketch cards featuring some favorite comic characters, including Green Arrow and Wonder Woman.
Another highlight of the convention was meeting actor Orlando Jones, who lives on the coast in Wilmington, North Carolina. He liked the area so much while filming the Sleepy Hollow TV series that he moved there.
We've been fans of his for a long time, from movies like The Time Machine, Office Space, and Evolution, as well as the TV series Sleepy Hollow. It was terrific to meet him. He's very friendly and sincere and smart, and spent lots of time talking to everyone who stopped by his table. It was fun to hear him describe himself as a nerd who likes sci-fi and games and math. He's currently appearing in American Gods, and his panel about that series was very thought-provoking. We're going to give the show a try.
We've had the good fortune to see Walter Simonson at other conventions in the past, where we've been fortunate to hear him talk at a few different panels. In fact, he and Ron Randall were on a panel together at Baltimore Comic-Con a few years ago, talking about fantasy and fiction world building that was really interesting. Ron Randall is the creator of the sci-fi comic Trekker that we talk about on our Trekker Talk podcast.
Walter Simonson is a great talent, but he's difficult to get an autograph or sketch from because his lines are always very long. But we persevered at NC Comicon Oak City and got a couple of autographs, one from his first series, Star Slammers, and his current series, Ragnarok. I know that some of our friends like Kyle Benning and Derek William Crabb, who are fans of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, probably won't forgive us, but sadly we didn't get a chance to see Kevin Eastman. Maybe next time.
We also had a great conversation with Will, who runs the Facebook page God Loves Geeks, and who hosted the panel Finding God in Comics, along with Chris of Ultimate Comics and Hector of Faith and Fandom. The panel was recorded and is available on the Faith and Fandom podcast. We'll include a link in the show notes.
We also had the opportunity for a panel about our own podcast at the convention, which was great fun.
The panel was first thing Saturday morning, just as the doors opened to the dealer's room, so we had a small turnout. But the conversations were fun, and that's what really matters.
I hope everyone enjoyed hearing our thoughts about NC Comicon Oak City. If you're in the area, we definitely recommend both the Oak City Con and the Bull City Con.
Thank you all for listening, and we'll be right back with our wrap-up and contact information.
It was 1938. The country continues its slow recovery from the Great Depression, while war clouds loom throughout Asia and German aggression builds in Europe. Americans seek comfort in distraction. It was a time when the most popular form of entertainment was radio, but a new form had been growing steadily and was set to explode. It was to become the golden age of the American comic book.
My name is Chris.
And my name is Mike. Please join us as we explore comics in the golden age between 1938 and 1955. All genres will be discussed, from superheroes to crime, horror, science fiction, humor, and Western.
So join us for the Comics in the Golden Age podcast, available through iTunes and Stitcher, and visit us on Facebook or at comicsinthegoldenage.com.
Before we go, we want to provide our contact information.
You can write to us directly at radadventuresnetwork@gmail.com or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram under the name Rad Adventures Network.
That's RAD, R-A-D, which is short for Ruth and Darren.
You can listen to the show through iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play.
And you can even find the show on YouTube under Rad Adventures Network.
And you can always visit radadventuresnetwork.com, where you'll find all of the episodes of all of our podcasts, including Trekker Talk, Warlord Worlds, and Xenozoic Xenophiles, as well as Sensational Sleuths, where we talk about our favorite mysteries, and Fantastic Fantasies, where we discuss our favorite fantasy stories.
If you like the show, please consider leaving a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or Google Play. While you won't find a specific place to review Convention Correspondents, we hope you'll leave a review under Rad Adventures Network. Every review helps the podcast be more likely to show up in search results.
And on YouTube, we hope you'll subscribe to the channel and give us some likes on the videos.
Thanks so much for listening, and we hope you'll come back next time for another new episode of Convention Correspondents.
Rad Adventures Network is a proud member of the Comics Podcast Network. For more information, please visit comicspodcast.com. The theme music is Typewriter Symphonic and is licensed from pod5.com. We make no money from this podcast and no copyright infringement is intended.